It echoed down the hill, past the cell house, past the guard towers, into the homes where they lived. Alarms, shouting, gunfire. Something had gone horribly wrong, but no one told them what was happening. Most days it felt safe enough. It was like any other neighborhood in America. There were movies, a bowling alley, after-school routines. But there was always something underneath. A pressure, a silence in the hall when your father came home late, with blood on his clothes. A tension you learned to ignore until it came roaring through your walls. Because this wasn't just any neighborhood. It was Alcatraz. Today, you can still visit Alcatraz. We did. We took a tour at night, and in that darkness, it's hard to imagine this place ever felt like home, but it did. For nearly 30 years, Alcatraz was a prison, but to the families that lived there, it was home, with birthday parties, potlucks, movie nights. Down near the ferry dock, in Building 64, correctional officers lived with their wives and kids. Every morning, children would take the ferry across the bay to San Francisco for school, to what they called the free world. And every afternoon, they found fun where they could, played tag on the walkways, ran loose on the parade ground. It seemed like ordinary Americana, until you looked closer, at the signs posted on every corner, restricted, danger. At the Christmas parties held in a converted military chapel with guards standing watch. At the friends who couldn't visit the island without approval and special clearance. And at the adults the children would see now and then, in prison uniforms, pulling weeds, emptying trash, always watched. It felt normal, but there were things you just didn't talk about. It wasn't fear, not exactly. It was protocol, an understanding passed down quietly. You can live here. Just don't forget where here is. Alcatraz wasn't just another prison. It was nicknamed The Rock. It was where the federal government sent the people it didn't trust anywhere else. The worst of the worst. Escape artists, gangsters, killers, Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly, creepy Alvin Karpis. And the children of Alcatraz grew up just down the hill from all of them. There was no warden telling the kids to be careful. No briefing on what could go wrong. They just picked it up. The rules weren't written down, but everyone knew them. The island taught them how to carry silence. Even in the calmest moments, there was that sound, the clatter of keys down a hallway, the echo of a door slamming somewhere out of sight, the foghorn groaning through the night like it knew something you didn't. They lived just far enough away to pretend it was normal, but close enough to feel it when the cracks started to show. Not fear, not yet, but something close to it, something just beneath the surface, waiting. For years, this way of life on the island held steady. The families lived near the docks, in converted military housing. The prisoners were kept uphill, locked deep inside the cell house. Most days, when the alarms went off, the kids didn't panic. They didn't need to. They knew what it meant. Something was happening behind the walls, and they were supposed to stay inside, stay quiet, and wait. That routine worked until May 1946. When the alarm sounded that spring, it wasn't followed by calm. It was followed by gunfire. A group of inmates had taken keys, weapons, and hostages. The Marines were called in. Explosions shook the prison, and families just down the hill were told to shelter in place. There were no press briefings, no updates, just the sound of bullets and the long silences that followed. Mothers told their children that it was just a drill. For most of the kids, it was the first time they had ever heard their mothers lie. They weren't told what was happening, but they could feel it. This was the moment they had quietly prepared for. When order was finally restored, 3 inmates were dead, 2 guards were killed, and 14 more were seriously wounded. Multiple families forever changed. Then, time moved on again. The routines came back. Ferry rides, homework, quiet birthdays behind locked gates. And then, in 1962, the island felt a second shockwave. 3 inmates, Frank Morris and the England brothers, vanished into the night. Their escape was so clean, so perfect, it left behind more questions than answers. No gunfire, no alarms, just silence. Although the 3 inmates were never seen again, no one could say for sure if they made it. And for the families who still lived on the rock, that may have been worse. Because this time, no one knew where the danger had gone, or if it was coming back. Less than a year later, Alcatraz was shut down for good. Too expensive, too controversial, too symbolic for a country that wanted to move forward. The inmates were moved, the families packed up, the children left the island for the last time, and the rock was left behind. A monument to confinement and brutality, to the illusion of control. And to the children of Alcatraz, it was never really normal. It just had to be.